423 to 426 is more of Aeneas's viewing of this city, and now his attention turns to the Tyrians themselves and what they're doing in this molem, this mass, this commotion, this strepitum that he's viewing with admiration. Virgil says that the Tyrians are dentes Tyrii, the ardent, the eager, burning Tyrians press on. Part lead forth walls and fashion a citadel and roll up rocks, literally, with their hands. Part fit out or outfit, choose a place with a house, with a roof, and enclose it or encircle it with a sulcus, a ditch. They legunt, they choose the laws and the magistrates and the sacred senate. So again, in this part, there's so much to talk about. We turn from looking at the city itself to the people that inhabit the city. They are ardentes, they are eager, they are quite literally burning, those Tyrii, and they press on with their work. There's intensity here, there's there's intention, and they are working feverishly to get their city working under the direction of Dido, we know. This intensity and this immediacy is underscored by what are called historical infinitives, ducere and moliri and subvolere, optare and concludere as well. And these are infinitives in Latin. I've heard this described, and I somewhat kind of believe the comparison. If you have a newspaper headline, it sounds more immediate. It sounds more purposeful if you say something like the U.S. to declare war on a newspaper headline as opposed to the U.S. declares war. It's the only kind of correlative I can think of in English, but it gets the idea across. But nonetheless, here, part of those Tyrians lead forth their walls, and they fashion their citadel, build their citadel up, and they subvolere. They're literally to roll under, right, is the main idea here. But they're rolling rocks to build walls, etc., with their hands. And part optare, they choose a place or they outfit a place. And I've seen tecto construed both as an ablative, so like they optare the locum with a roof, with housing, or as a dative of purpose, a purposeful dative there, so they outfit a place for housing, for roofs, and then they enclose it with a sulcus, with a ditch. And then a great example of what's called zeugma here. So zeugma is the figure of speech where we have a verb, and it's the same verb being applied to several, or at least more than one direct object in different ways. So we have three direct objects here. They choose laws, and they choose magistrates, and they choose a sacred senate. And even in English, we're using the word choose in all three instances, but we don't choose laws the same way that we choose or perhaps elect magistrates and the sacred senate. And then, of course, we have the cultural note that Virgil includes here, that Carthage indeed has a senate. And we know that Carthage was a sophisticated civilization, had a sophisticated government, and that government, of course, is something that Hannibal had to reckon with in the Punic Wars, and for that lack of reconciliation between Hannibal and his government is one of the reasons that Rome was able to defeat him, because they cut off their funding. But nonetheless, it's a hallmark of civilization. So we talked about the paving of the roads. Now we're talking about delegating responsibility. We're talking about building housing. But now we're talking about politics. And so this is an incredibly advanced civilization for one that Dido just settled here in a recent period of time.